You're sitting on the couch. Both dogs jump up. For about 3 seconds, everything is fine. And then one of them stiffens. A low sound, maybe a snap, and the other one either backs down, or it escalates into something that makes you stand up and separate them. You put one on the floor. You feel bad about it. You wonder if you should just get a bigger couch. But here's what's actually happening in that moment, and it has nothing to do with the couch. The most common explanation that crosses your mind is they're both comfortable there, they both want the same spot, and one of them just doesn't want to share. And that makes sense. It's what it looks like. But that explanation leads you to solutions that only work on the surface. You buy a second dog bed. You create a rule that only one dog is allowed on the couch. You rotate them, and for a while, it seems to help. Then you're sitting on the floor petting one of them, and the other pushes in. Or you're in bed, and one climbs over the other to get closer to you. Or they're fine on the couch until you sit down, and then the tension starts. Notice what those situations have in common. It's not really about the couch. It's not about the bed. It's not even about the specific spot. It's about proximity to you. And that changes everything about how you understand this and what you actually do about it. The first layer here is what behavioral scientists call spatial resource competition, but in plain terms, it's simpler than that. In a pack, physical closeness to the most important figure in the group isn't just comfort. It's a signal. It communicates trust, status, and access. The dog closest to the center of the group is the dog with the most secure position in it. In your home, that center is you. So when both dogs try to occupy the same space near you, on the couch, in your bed, in your lap, they're not fighting over cushions. They're negotiating position. Who gets to be closest? Who has the most direct access? Who, in the language they understand, matters more. Now here's what makes this complicated. In most cases, neither dog has a clearly established position yet. The hierarchy between them is still fluid, still being tested, and every time you're within reach, the test restarts. That's why the couch isn't the problem. The couch is just where the test happens to be most visible. But if it's a positioning problem, why do some dogs fight over spaces even when you're not there? That answer lives in the second layer, and it's the one most owners completely miss. Even when you leave the room, certain spots hold value. The couch where you always sit, your side of the bed, the chair you use every morning. These spaces carry your scent most strongly, and in canine communication, scent is information. It marks presence. It marks ownership. It marks who this space belongs to. A dog that positions himself in your spot, or in the spot closest to where you usually are, isn't being stubborn. He's making a statement about his relationship to you, even in your absence. And here's where the second layer gets interesting. The dog that consistently wins those spots, over time, starts to behave differently in other contexts too. More assertive at the door, more insistent for attention, more likely to place himself between you and the other dog. Because in his mind, the positioning has been confirmed. The structure has spoken. The dog that consistently loses those spots also changes. He may become more anxious, more vocal, more likely to escalate quickly when he does try to compete, because he's trying to claim something from a position of accumulated disadvantage. Neither of these trajectories is healthy for either dog, and both of them started on the couch. That's not dramatic. That's just how social structures work when they're left undefined. So what do you actually do? Because the answer isn't ban them from the furniture. It's something more precise than that, and it works with the structure instead of against it. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to eliminate the competition, you define the structure clearly enough that there's nothing left to compete over. 3 things, applied consistently. First, both dogs earn the space. Before either dog gets on the couch or the bed near you, they sit, they wait, and you invite them up. Not a punishment, not a restriction, an invitation. This one change does something important. It removes the space from the negotiation between them and places it under your authority. They're not competing for the spot anymore. They're both waiting for you to decide. Second, when tension starts, you don't just separate them. You reset the entire sequence. Both dogs off. Both dogs sit. Both dogs wait. Then you invite one calmly, without drama. This communicates that the space resets to neutral when the rules aren't followed, not as a correction, as a structure. Third, and this is the one that changes the most, fastest stop, allowing one dog to push the other out of a space you already gave. If you invited dog A onto the couch and dog B comes and forces him off, dog B comes off the couch, immediately. Not angrily, clearly. Because what you're doing in that moment isn't just protecting dog A, you're communicating to both dogs that the invitation you give means something. That the structure you set holds. Dogs don't need a perfect hierarchy between themselves. They need to know that someone is holding the structure. When that's clear and when it's consistently, the pressure between them drops significantly. Because the thing they were competing over is no longer up for grabs. Your dogs aren't fighting over the couch. They're asking a question that nobody has answered clearly yet. Who has the most secure position here? And every time that question goes unanswered, they find a way to ask it again. On the couch, in the bed, in your lap, at the door, wherever you are. What you learned today isn't just about furniture rules. It's about understanding what your dogs are actually doing when they compete for space near you, and why defining that structure clearly is one of the most important things you can do for the relationship between them. When the answer to that question is clear, the question stops being asked. And the couch, the bed, the lap, they go back to being what they were always supposed to be, just a place to rest. Here's what I want you to try this week before any changes. The next time both dogs are near you on the couch or the floor, don't move and don't intervene. Just watch. Which one positions himself closest to you? Which one makes the first move if the other gets too close? And which one backs down first? You don't need to do anything with that information yet. Just collect it. Because next week, I'm going to show you exactly what those positioning patterns tell you about where your pack structure actually stands right now, and the specific adjustments that move it in the right direction. Tell me in the comments, which dog always ends up closest to you? And does the other one let it happen, or does he fight for it every time?